Breathe again. The election. Now, is your intent wholeness? Is your intent wholeness? Okay. Now, I'm talking to my peeps now. Okay? I'm talking to my flock, so to speak, the ones who come here, the ones who stream, and if one more person asks me, what about Trump, I'm going to scream. Do not get into fear. Do not get into fear. The inner light community is very vast. And I am sure there are people who are voting for folks all over the place or writing folks in. Once again, this is not about the particular candidates. These next few moments, I want to just talk about consciousness. And us not getting into the consciousness of separation. That's why we're in the mess we're in now, is the consciousness of separation. But if you meet separation with more separation, you just get more separation. Which is why it says in Scripture, judge not, lest you be judged. Judgment just brings more judgment. So if you're separating from the ones who are separating, that's more separation. If you're feeling holier than thou, looking your nose down at the other ones who are thinking they are holier than thou, that's just a whole, well, ooh, I almost said it. Let's just say hot air coming from a particular orifice. Don't demonize Trump. Don't demonize him. He is a child of God as much as any of the rest of us are children of God. Quit worrying about why is everybody following Trump like he's the Pied Piper and has everybody hypnotized. And it's so interesting to me that people don't feel that way about Bernie Sanders. With Bernie Sanders, oh, he represents the people. He's tuned in with the people. But with Trump, nobody's saying that Trump is tuned in with the people. That the people are lost and ignorant and they're following some mad Pied Piper. No, baby, he's tapped into the people too. Listen to what I'm saying. Get out of denial. Get out of denial, because that's all that's about. He is just articulating the consciousness of a large segment of this society the same way that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are articulating other aspects of this society. Breathe. Get out of the this ain't America and this can't be and he's hoodwinking. No. It's been here. And it's been here all along. And it can never get healed until it comes to surface. America has always been a house divided. America has always been a nation that lives in contradiction. Since the first words of all men are created equal, written by a man who owned 200 slaves, we have always been a nation of contradiction. Okay? The only difference now is that more people are waking up to it. Nothing new. Nothing new. So there's an innocence that gets lost in this, where people get hurt and they get afraid. It's like, how did this happen? Is this my nation? What happened? It's always been here. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. You can't have an Obama without a Tea Party. For every action, this is physics I'm talking about. We're here as metaphysicians. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You feel it in your own body. The moment that you say, I'm going to go for it, there's something that's like, ah! The moment you say, I'm going to forgive this, oh no, they did this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Ah! There is always an equal and opposite reaction. Love goes up, judgment comes down. Judgment goes up, love comes down, compassion comes down. There's always an opposite and equal reaction. But we make this work in our favor. Okay? So don't be surprised. You prepare. This is what we don't understand. The civil rights leaders of the 60s, they knew this. They knew that they had to make peace with the oppressor. Because if they actually did get the rights, now what? We're all sitting here together. Now what? Now what? What do you want? King said, I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill white people. I want to live next door to you. I want our kids to go together. What do you want? What do you want? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it separating from the separatists. Separating from the separatists is just more separation. The thing we have to get over, take a breath. I can see I'm going to be real late to Pride. I'm not going to be here too long. We got started late. Take another breath. The problem in this nation and the world is supremacy. That's the problem. Supremacy. Supremacy. Whether it's putting human beings at the top of the food chain as being more important than the planet and all the other creatures, whether it's putting certain races above other races in supremacy, or one sex above the other sex, or one religion above another religion, or one nation above another nation. It's supremacy. Breathe that. It's supremacy. And that's what's being tapped into now. This is this vibration that you're hearing and feeling, where such a large segment of our population feels displaced. And they are angry and feel like they are losing ground, that the gays are taking over, and the Confederate flag is coming down, and the Muslims this, and black people have taken over the White House. I mean, and on and on and on. Okay? But it is a sense of losing ground, of losing efficacy, of losing control, of losing power and wealth. And you can look all over history, whether it was Hitler, whether it was Jim Crow here. You sell people nationalism. When it looks like they're down and losing and out, you sell them this supremacy. We're going to be great again. And we're going to be mighty. And we're going to be strong. And we're going to be protected because we're so strong. I don't care what it is. I don't care whether it's about race or about religion or whatever. Our problem is supremacy. Are you with me? Okay. Take another breath. Racism has morphed into nationalism in the United States. Folks don't want to be white, I'm just American. Don't be white, I'm just human. But fundamental racism has morphed into nationalism so that Americans have now become a super race on the planet. We're the super race. We have the right to police everybody. Military bases on 120 countries. It'll be a cold day in hell where there's a foreign country that has a military base on American soil. I mean, a cold day in hell. And we 120, I can't even name 120 countries. Listen to what I'm saying. We have to grow up. We're the baby. The United States is the baby. The European superpowers, Western superpowers, they already figured it out. That you can't be colonialist anymore. You can't dominate the world anymore. That we have to have a commonwealth, that we have to have a global citizenship. They've already figured it out. So when they pulled out of it, the U.S. as the new baby has stepped in and tried to take that over. The French pulled out of Vietnam. They said, let them have their democracy. We took over that fight. We've been trying to control and still trying to control. So there's a different discussion that we have to start having. Instead of being judgmental of people about why are you following the Pied Piper, we need to be having a vision about America as a responsible global citizen that can play with other people. Instead of all this hysteria about Islamic terrorists, they are not Islamic terrorists any more than the KKK or Christian terrorists. Burning a cross, baby, don't make you Christian. The Taliban, ISIS, they're just the KKK of Islam. But we don't want the whole world judging Christianity based on the KKK. But then that's what we do to Islam, who, once again, are around the supremacy. So the problem is not, will the real supreme one please stand up? Will the better one please stand up? Oh, well, we're metaphysicians. Oh, you're just Neanderthal fundamentalists, Pentecostals. Oh, we're the enlightened ones. You're living in the dark ages. Healing folks left and right. Well, we're just talking about it. Nobody has a monopoly. Are you with me? Nobody has a monopoly. Energetically, we have to do a turnaround. That's what I'm saying. Is that we're going down a rabbit hole here. And if everybody's into judgment, and if everybody's into separation, and if everybody thinks they're better than everybody else, it isn't helping. Can you love? Can you pray? Can you hear and feel the pain? There is a riot in the Republican Party. It's their Ferguson. I'm from LA. That city was always going up in flames. And nobody could ever hear the cry. Nobody could ever figure out what happens when people are so upset they burn their own stuff down. They're burning down their own party. Because that's what you do. have some compassion. Have some love. Hear the cry. Hear the pain. And how do we answer that? Can we answer it with love? Can we answer it with love? Can we say, I want to be in this nation with you? I'm talking physics here. The left wing can't fly without the right. Nature has a symmetry. The wings are made the same way, and they curve in opposite directions. You cannot have aerodynamics. You cannot have flight without it. How do you find the way to balance it? To live with it? To not divide over it? To have room enough for it? Because the left wing cannot fly without the right. The right's going nowhere without the left. Its supremacy is the problem. Now, I'm not saying that we're all going to get so evolved that we don't think we're good, or that we might even think we're the best. Whether it's your home or your school or whatever. Supremacy is when you try to institutionalize it. Supremacy is when you try to dominate and control everybody else to make certain that you're on the top. That's when it becomes supremacy. Are you with me? Okay. You can have, okay, tonight, game 2 of the finals. NBA Finals basketball. The Warriors think they're all that. The Cavaliers think they're all that. 5, go on the court and have at it. But they're not trying to stop each other from being a good team or getting into the finals. It's like, bring it. We need to make the world, instead of war, make it like the Olympics. Bring it. What you got? What you got? Let's share. Let's see just how good. Jesse Jackson said, you'll never know how good the game can be till everybody can play. I'm talking about a radical love here. I'm talking about radical inclusion. I'm talking about a different conversation. So when you're talking to your relatives all over, well, why are you voting? How could you do that? Really listen. Where do you think that's going to get you? I mean, really, listen. What are you looking for? What do you want? What's going to happen out of that? It's just a sense of separation. Republican Party is separating amongst its own self. Separation begets separation, begets separation, begets separation, begets separation. Can anybody stand for the unification? Can somebody say we're one nation? That we're going to make it through this? That there's room enough for all? Can we have those discussions? Because that's how we made it over. That's how we got marriage equality. We didn't get marriage equality through the gay folk. We got marriage equality through our allies. Through our straight brothers and sisters and mothers and co-workers and whatnot who said, you know what? Our families are not inherently better. Yours is equal to mine. Can we say that about other nations? Can we say that about other religions? Can we just have those conversations? You don't have to judge people. Why in the world do you want a wall around Mexico? That's about one of the dumbest things you could possibly think of. people aside, listen to what I'm saying, even in your own heart and your own consciousness. If you're really fearing global terrorists, why in the world would you want the nation just south of you to be impoverished and pray to the terrorists? Even if you didn't care about the people next door, you'd protect your neighborhood. But that's how dumb separate mentality is. That need to exclude and to, so this is what happens in our lives. I'm going to put the wall around me, and next door and next, I don't care what happens. I don't care what happens. No. I'm calling for a new revelation. I'm calling for a radicalness of heart, of unification, where we listen, where we love, where we hear. Not fear, but hear. Not fear, but hear. Where you pray. Not about folks, but for them. As you. As you. I'm talking to my peeps here now. This is what we're about. This is what makes this spiritual community so unique and so different. Is that willingness to go there and be the change. Be it. This is where we're going. You want to go there? Yes. See? And I'm just so sorry I'm not going to be here at the end for the love train.